So a lot of the bigger brands, yes, they may say they're mineral, but there's a lot of filler ingredients in there as well. So I'm about full transparency, and I want to, show you and then educate you on what you're using, because it's important. I mean, the customers are savvy today. They can look on the internet. There's a lot of websites with healthy ingredients to help you as well. You don't want to just give people products that are not good for them. So I really just always was very passionate about that, in offering all skin types, all skin colors, a full range of cosmetics, which is foundation, concealer, powders, blush, lips, cheeks, eyes, nails, and skincare.
Hello, possibility seekers. I'm back and I have a very special guest today. Did you ever want to talk to somebody who actually makes makeup and skincare that's good for you? Did you ever want to know what you're really putting on your face and on your skin? Did you ever want to know what's really behind that sexy brand that you think you love and you think you know all about? Well, I'm about to tell you from somebody that does know the answers to all those questions. Today, I am with Giella Poblocki. She is the founder and CEO of Giella Custom Blend Cosmetics. With over 30 years in the beauty industry, Giella is known for her innovative approach to custom makeup and her commitment to using only the highest quality ingredients. She began her career at Saks while still in school, later spending 12 years as national sales manager for a custom cosmetics line at Vidal Sassoon Salons. When the brand changed hands, Giella took the reins and built it into her own company. In 2004, she was named Innovator of the Year by the Independent Cosmetics and Makeup Distributors. Her work has been featured in over 300 fashion magazines and on major networks like NBC, ABC, and CBS. Giella also leads in-person and online workshops, teaching the next generation how to blend beauty with business. Welcome, Giella. How are you?
Thank you, Monique. Very good. Glad to be here.
So you guys should know that I am a walking advertisement for Giella because everything on my face, everything on my skin is all hers.
And you look amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Those of you on YouTube, please say yes. I love your skin care. I love your products. I love them. I love you. You are a real pioneer as it relates to doing good and doing well by doing good. So we're going to just kind of unpack organically your journey as a female beauty cosmetics and skincare executive, and working at the larger brands. I think a lot of people are very curious what's behind those, sexy brands, and what is really made, and how much of it is marketing and how much of it is mindset and all of that stuff, and how you got to be where you are. Tell us all about it.
All right. Well, let's see. I mean, as a teenager, I always loved fashion and color, makeup, loved it all, but I never really knew it was a career. Thankfully, I also like math, so I figured I would go into accounting. And then someone told me about FIT when I was in my third year of undergrad as an accounting major. And I immediately transferred over. I couldn't even believe that everything I loved was actually, could be a job. So I transferred over and I got my undergrad in marketing. And I figured what a perfect marriage would be for math and fashion, to be a buyer. So I was on that retail path in management to go into buying. So right before in FIT, I did a internship at Family Circle magazine, and I worked in the beauty department. And one of the lines that we did a story on had got my number and called me and asked if I wanted to work for them in Henry Bendel for a custom blend cosmetic line. And I just thought, I was in my very early 20s, and I just thought, it sounded so interesting to be able to make a lipstick, at the counter. So I figured, let me just try it. I wasn't 100% happy where I was. And, the 20s are the decade to really try different on areas to see if you like it or not. And it was hugely successful. And I was with them for a couple of years. They needed money though, so they got involved with the venture capital, and they did not like that marriage. So it was very unfortunate. They were amazing people, but they resigned from their own company. Then Vidal Sassoon Salons picked up the distributorship, and they got my name because I worked there. And I ran it for them for 12 years, based out of New York City. And no one really had any interest. The gentleman who owned the rights to it. He had another job, and he just gave me the freedom to run it myself. So I just took it upon myself to learn about packaging, and I went to the supplier shows. I worked with a chemist on my 2 days off, because I wanted to know the back end of it. Obviously, I had the sales and training because I was doing that already, but I really got to run it as my own. I was very fortunate for that, and I kept expanding the ranges of custom blend because I figured, why should it just be certain products? It should be everything. So that's when we introduced custom nail polish, which was awesome. It's a healthy one. It's formaldehyde free, toluene free, and phthalate free. I know everyone loves gel because they do keep your manicure flawless for 2, 3 weeks. However, what we really stand for is always about being healthy. So you have to touch up, if you're active more often. But, I still really believe in healthy ingredients. So with that, after 12 years working at Vidal Sassoon, they decided to sell their company, and they did not want makeup on the books at all. So my position was terminated, but they did give me the choice to obtain the distributorship. And I figured, I've been doing this already for 12 years, so why not? I also had, in that 12-year period, I also went and got my MBA in marketing as well. So that was also very helpful, to have that combination of the experience of running business, but also, the financial background.
Well, I find that people in your industry, I mean, people in creative industries, we'll say, and fashion and beauty typically don't have right brain, left brain like you have.
Yeah. I mean, you really, as much as I would love to spend so much money on, advertising and promotions, you really have to, understand the profit and loss statement and, at the end of the day, money to pay the bills. So it was right before 9/11 in August. And that's when I started Giella. So 24 years. And it's been, yeah, quite a fun journey.
So Giella for me stands for a lot of things. I don't want to put the words before you do. I want you to talk about, what you created it in a very specific image with your vision and your mission and your values, and you're very clear about clean and things that are good for you. I want you to elaborate for the audience a little bit as to what that means and how you came to that decision.
Yeah, I just think, talking to people for so many years, and it's not like walking into a Sephora or an Ulta or a Saks cosmetic department. We ask so many questions, and I listen. So I really want to find out, like, why you have a drawer full of makeup that you're not using. So, I want you to have the smallest, bag, but it's products that you use to the very end, especially now with our trend towards sustainability and waste. We really want products that are 100% right for you. And even if it needs a tweak, I encourage people to come back and let me tweak it for you, so it's 100%, guaranteed. But I just always thought it was so empowering for women to, or men, or whoever wears makeup, that they get products that are exactly right for them.
Now, what does that mean for you? First of all, what does it mean that it's a clean ingredient? And I want you to cut, and it's okay. We don't have to throw a specific brand under the bus, but I do want you to shed some light on how these things are made today and what we think we're buying versus what we're actually getting.
Yeah, like I won't use the brand name, but when we were in Henry Bendel for 14 years, someone was helping me, and I offered them to, try one of our products as a thank you. And she says, "Oh no, I'm very allergic to mineral makeup." And I said, "Really? Why?" I mean, it's a pure ingredient. There's no fillers, nothing in it. I mean, our products are just 100% mineral for the powders. And so she worked for this brand, and I said, "Well, let me see the box." So I turn it over, I look at the ingredients, and of course there is mineral in it, but then there's a bunch of other fillers, and a lot of them silicones, dimethicones, which can cause you to break out. They're good for slip. They give you a nice little glide when an application, but they're not the best for skin because they are comedogenic or pore clogging.
Anything with cos is pore clogging.
Generally, I mean, there are different types of silicones, but I just said, I look at people's ingredients all the time. I said, if I'm not with them, I said, just take a picture and let me look at it for you and let me help you decipher what you're using. It could be for allergies, it could be for breakouts, it could just be for being healthy because, we absorb a lot of the makeup that are on our skin. I mean, I always say that, just based on all the research and statistics that people eat about 2 to 3 pounds of lipstick in their lifetime. So you need to turn over your ingredient list and look at your ingredients. And if you don't know them, bring them to me and I will show you what all of the inky names are. That's the, like vitamin E, they don't write on that, it's tocopherol. So, I can help you decipher the ingredients to make sure that they're good for you. So a lot of the bigger brands, yes, they may say they're mineral, but there's a lot of filler ingredients in there as well. So I'm about full transparency and I want to, show you and then educate you on what you're using because it's important. I mean, the customers are savvy today. They can look on the internet. There's a lot of websites with healthy ingredients to help you as well. So, you don't want to just give people products that are not good for them. So I really just always was very passionate about that in offering all skin types, all skin colors, a full range of cosmetics, which is, foundation, concealer, powders, blush, lips, cheeks, eyes, nails, and skincare. I mean, skincare ever since COVID has been a big boom. I mean, I never, we have a big skincare business now, and the people are paying more attention to it, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. So what the and clearly all of that time with your chemists really helped you because now you're your chemist yourself. So the beauty of Giella was at my a retreat last October and was custom blending foundation and concealers for the ladies on the spot by literally looking at their skin and blending it and then it would harden in the moment. It was the most fascinating process to watch for us because we had never seen it being done, and I fell in love with a cream foundation, which I never even knew was a thing, really. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know I would like it. I love your foundation is just it makes everything look so beautiful. Blending, what do you put in a product that what we're buying currently at Sephora is not it's not like that?
A lot of the foundations and concealers, I love green tea butter. So I'll add that. It's an antioxidant and it's really rich for you. We will add hyaluronic to our BB creams and foundations. We can add the vitamin E. We can add niacinamide, which is like an oxygenation boost to your skin. We can add the different nourishing oils like marula, ingu, avocado, jojoba. I have all these different complex oils that you combine together as an oil, or I can use them in the mix. We can add pore minimizer. So if you don't want to use the powder, we can add sunscreen, but it's a natural SPF. It's a titanium based. I don't know when you put on certain sunscreens and you get that very white finish, that's titanium. So that's actually a natural sunscreen, and we can add a lot of that to the foundations. But we legally can't say that it's an SPF 15 or higher because then it becomes an FDA drug, and this rulings on that. But we can add quite a bit of it. We also can add a zinc sunscreen. So you're getting all of the coverage, the SPF factor, the glow, and the skincare as well.
So really you're coming with with solutions to a customer based on what it is that they want and what it is that you see on their face. Like if you're seeing a woman of a certain age, as I like to call myself now, and you say, she wants to minimize her wrinkles or her frown lines or her whatever, and yet, she wants to be out in the sun without you have this ability to know exactly what to put in her products, which I find super cool.
Yeah, I forgot. It's peptides too. That's another big additive we can add, and that really helps. I like to put that over the foundation, and you could see like in 15 minutes the lines just soften. And I test everything on myself first.
You trained me to do that, and so that's what I do. Guys, I just those of you listening, I'm addicted to her oils, specifically the Emu. The blend is lovely. The night cream that smells like cucumber is just delicious. The day cream, the magic milk is my favorite. I feel like 10 years younger when I put it on. And then the peptides after I do your foundation, it just plumps me up so that it like all you're right. The small lines start to dissipate,
Hmm.
which is magic. So I'm like dabbing it all over my little, just like you taught me.
Yeah, that green cream at night, that's 10% glycolic. So that's almost like a retin-A. So that will be good for exfoliating and the spots. But a lot of them on the market, which I would always break out from all the dermatologists who would give it to me, is that the pH is usually 2%. So the lower the pH, the more active and abrasive and burning. But I think Americans like that. They feel like it's working. But most people are sensitive, and it's just too much for them. So ours is a 3.5 pH. So it's much closer to 7, which is normal, and you don't have that burn. But you get the texture and you get the spot softening, but it just takes longer.
Yeah, I'm not really anxious to burn my skin. I'm good.
Some people are though.
I know, right? I don't know. It's crazy. And also the makeup, as far as I'm concerned, is super cool. The colors are amazing. So I'm wearing my glam. Um, and your lip gloss, I found in my golf bag and I've had it, I think, for 20 years. It still works.
Good, good, good.
Oh my god, so funny. Anyway, when you talk to women in your business, what is it that you think holds I mean, I don't wanna prejudge that women are being held back, but I do know that women are being held back. So, what is it that you try to have the new generation that is coming up through the business know or have them? What do you teach them? What do you tell them? What do you think is holding them back?
Yeah, well, actually, I feel for some other smaller companies, and people will always have an idea, and typically like a lip gloss line. And I always say to them, I'll help you fill. They would provide me their packaging, and then I fill for them, and I can, advise them on colors and so forth. But what I say to them is, why your lip gloss over all these other lip glosses that are out there. You have to have a story. You have to have a differential advantage. What makes you stand out? And that's the key to any business and any concept. You have to have something different. Otherwise, why would anyone buy your products? So I, help them. I said, find an ingredient that's a favorite ingredient of yours, tell a story about it, have an interesting additive like a CBD or something like that. But you need to have something different that sets you apart. And that's, how I've competed for 24 years. I compete with billion-dollar companies from Estee Lauder, Lancome, L'Oreal, but I can clearly say that's how we're different. So always know in business, your product or concept, you have to have that differential advantage. What makes you stand out?
Well, that's your marketing MBA speaking there, because I've had this conversation with my clients over and over for the years, and I'm B2B, not B2C, but my soundbite is different is better than better. I don't care that you think you're better than ABC brand. It's irrelevant because the consumer is seeing it as the same thing. It's commoditized in their eyes immediately, if not sooner. So, you have to be clear about your distinct and differentiator. And so other than giving them the advice of being better, how are you feeling women progressing at the rate that you wanna see them in your particular industry?
I mean, I still think it's more of a man's world, in terms of business. However, I don't. I think we still have to be hopeful and still be strong and try to break it through even more. Just I think with women starting business, they always have the access to capital. Typically, people in the investment firms still cater more to men than women because I think we still there is progress, but I think women are still managing, family and home and career, and are not seen as equal as men in those areas.
What would you give them as advice?
I think once you're really clear, and you have that differential advantage and you're very clear about what you want to do and you have a plan, like you really your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, your threats. Once you're really clear about that, go with it and don't give up. Like you have to have that resistance. And every day, we're dealing with the past 24 years. There have obstacles that have come along the way. Number one, COVID, where everyone stayed in. And, you always have to just be resilient and confident, and always, it's the way I deal with stress and situations. I just go right immediately to plan B, and that's what I did during COVID. I was in the warehouse for, 18 months, and I put all my training material on videos so that if someone did want to learn custom blend, I had a platform and they were able to do that without them coming to me or vice versa.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, it's a pivot. It's the ability to pivot based on circumstance, isn't it?
But you really have to believe. I mean, people have a plan, but it really has to be thought out and understood, and you can't just like give it up. You really have to have that resilient, attitude towards it.
Yeah, well, you're a big believer in mindset, as I've known you for a very long time. And I think, I'd love for you to share personally, you do affirmations, you're spiritual. What how, what has worked for you as just a person, not just a business owner? What has worked in terms of that whole mindset thing? What for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was always very confident and I was always very positive in seeing situations, both personal and in business. Again, as if plan A isn't working, go to B to C to D, don't stress about anything. The mindset has really affected um, the way I look at things in business and personally. It's really that recording that goes on in your mind 24/7, basically. That voice is it will revert back, I mean, I'm 59, so it will revert back sometimes, and you have to just catch it and change it. If you don't like that recording in your voice, change it. It needs to be positive. You need to see, what you want, your goals, your dreams, your happiness. So you have to change everything. It's that constant recording. And it takes some practice, some meditation, just to get quiet sometimes, and just to really keep reciting over and over. It's a repetition. But mindset really it takes you away from the negative, and it puts you in the present, the now, and you really seeing, like, own the brand, own. I just it's something maybe in the past 7 years I really worked on, and seeing it and believing it, and it will come.
I agree. Those positive affirmations and the manifesting, it's not BS. It really isn't. Because when you say it out loud, you commit to it. The cells in your body line up as if it's already happening.
Yeah, it works. It works. There are so many different books on it, and a lot more scientific than others. But
When you started talking about the little voice inside your head, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that conversation." It's like talk to yourself in the third person, do whatever it takes.
yeah, I just had a client yesterday on the same thing, and it was amazing how it was her first time with me, and she never wore makeup, and we just talked and talked about it, and it's really and to cite examples of what she wanted and what she did, and she got it. You can't just say it once though. That's not it really has to be consistent and repetitive.
And you have to be willing to do the work. See, I think that the problem where people really get tripped up is they say, "Oh, I want to, I want to be rich. I want to like all these material
Right,
things or
right,
whatever it is," but they're
right.
not willing to do the work, right? So, in the
100%.
expression of one of the fitness people I listen to, it's like everybody wants the abs of steel, but nobody wants to do the sit-ups.
Mhm.
Like so, you got to do the work. You got to do the reps. You got to do the
Right.
thing. So, on that kind of note, the idea of community, the idea of being with other strong, empowered women is something that as I'm getting older, I'm realizing is super important to me, not only for my happiness, my joy, and also accomplishing things that mean something. And so this notion of power of community, I just wanted you to comment on what you thought of community as a thing for women, not just entrepreneurial women.
Yeah, I mean, I have been involved with probably thousands of different networking events, charities for work, and just have met some incredible, incredible women. I mean, yes, the ultimate rule is for you to be strong, love yourself, respect yourself, and then you can deal with others. That's always the first. But having that help from women and just I can't tell you how much it has spiraled from one client that I've got maybe 100 clients from. They all just want to share, to help, to promote, and it's really amazing. So I try, some are better than others in terms of the financial part of it, but sometimes it's just showing up always because you never know who you're going to meet. But there's really a lot of women, out there who really want to help.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Um, so when you encounter somebody who has we talk about body image issues right now. It's very big, mental health, depression, anxiety, all of those things. And I'm sure in your business you see it because people are trying to make the exterior feel better. Yes. So when you encounter these insecurities in your personal experiences, what have you done or said to help your clients, your customers overcome some of those self-limiting beliefs?
Sometimes they are very negative and focus on their bags, and that's all they see. I will do their makeup and everything, and they're still looking at the bags under their eyes. So I will do a little exercise with them in terms of saying something positive back to me in the next 10 minutes because they're too negative. So I do try to get them to do it, being positive, the affirmations, because I think it's important that people really beat themselves up. They don't see how beautiful their eyes are. They're just looking at what's underneath. You have to see the good.
So when you ask them to say something positive about you to you?
Not about me, just about anything. It could be anything. It's just being positive. I think that's just a step in the right, because some people are, I listen in these consultations, and usually the first ones are well into an hour and a half. Because I really want to know your routine and what you're doing and, your budget and how much time you want to spend and, their skin issues and one of the biggest things that I just discovered from women with their routine of putting on foundation. Typically people use a sponge or a brush. My second question after that is, well, how many times do you wash it? And I get 9 out of 10. Will you say I'm very good, once a week, once a month? Never. That is like a haven for bacteria. So if you don't do it every single day, that it's completely washed and dry, you are just spreading germs all over your skin and you're getting a lot of issues. And the dermatologist will just prescribe usually an antibiotic to put on it, a topical. but they're not asking the why. Why? What are you doing? So, if you're not going to be diligent with the sponge or the brush washing every day, I always just say use clean fingers. But there's always, I really want to find out, and I will talk to people, both on a business and personal level to find out, like, why they're beating themselves up. It's an industry that, brings, it's great to be in cosmetics because, you just bring someone a smile with a lipstick. It's really very rewarding. And and I hear a lot of stories over the years.
Just share one little story.
People just who have been through a lot, like having a loss, of a child or, a husband. And so I listen to a lot of stories like that and just, try to give some hope and light, in making them feel good every day. But one of my stories, I don't know, this was a long time ago, and I was giving someone a lesson, makeup lesson, where I do half the face and they do the other side. And I said to her, so I'm watching her every move. I give them the brush, I give you everything. So she had her eyes closed the whole time. And I said to her, I said, your eyes were closed. I said, how can you see? She goes, oh, I never knew. I never knew you had to open your eyes to do your makeup.
Oh my god, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
So you never know what you're going to hear.
That's true. Well, I think of you, I'll say this out loud now, I said to you before we started, but it's like I think of you every morning as I roll my mascara underneath and I get this very, very thick, eyelash line because of how you taught me to roll my brush. I'm so proud of
Yeah, I saw that trick when I was in my early 20s and I've rolled it forward to a lot of people just, yeah, they don't get underneath their lashes.
so much different, but and your lash primer is the bomb. Anyway, what you wish women would focus as they approach skincare, wellness, makeup, their best selves. What is it that you wish they would focus on?
Probably just healthy ingredients. Just because, a celebrity uses them, they're not always the best. Just what I would say is turn over the ingredient list and look at it and make sure there's, just like food, actually, right? That's what we're dealing with food today, and it affecting our health. So I think you need to do the same with makeup and skincare.
Perfect. Yeah, I think personally, and I'm a food crazy person and very into nutrition and wellness. For me, it's much easier to distinguish between good and bad ingredients in the food industry than it is for me in cosmetics because it's all chemicals. I can't distinguish a good ingredient or an ingredient that is really vitamin C said in a chemical compound, right? So it's helpful. I think maybe we should come up with the Giella primer of terms. I don't know if you have that, but that could be something really cool to have on your website. Just another marketing idea, a Giella. So you have, like, the ingredients that we have in our products is in one column, ingredients you will find in other national brands and what they really are. Oh, I think that's such a good marketing idea. Okay. So what is the best career advice you were ever given?
This was very early on, probably in 2002 when we were in Henry Bendel, and I had a big investor, come after um, me, which I was very impressed because we were so new. And I met him a couple of times, but he was like typical VCs. That they had to, million to 10, 15 million. That's very common in sales before they invest. He kept telling me was just to keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And I think it's not like someone's, going to buy your business in 1 year, 3 years. You have to show a track record. You have to show that you can, you know, run a business, pay your expenses in 24 years, so keep doing what you're doing.
What about the worst career advice you've ever been given?
Probably to go with the bigger agencies, with the website and marketing. I've tried middle ground. I've tried friends, family, and then I met with an advisor, and he suggested to go with this bigger house. to really make an investment. And I've never just, it was the worst experience, and uh, just a toss of money.
Probably getting a kickback. I'm serious. I'm sorry.
He probably was.
So interesting.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to go with your gut a little bit, and but I did try it, so that was okay.
So on that note, it's funny. My next question was going to be, if you had the opportunities to speak to your 30-year-old self, your 30-year-old Giella, what would you say to her if you had that chance?
I would suggest to her to, you know, the mindset part of it, because that's what I was missing, I would say. I was always very positive and very, good in business and with clients. But having that mindset is so critical.
Mindset of positivity, mindset of possibility.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, having that positive mindset, and really focus on getting every word that you think and say to be positive in that direction. Because I mean, there were times where we had some setbacks, and I think you have to, without that mindset, it can be, debilitating. So I think that was key.
That's yeah, most people say that it'll be okay, you're going to do fine, relax, like have more fun, right? That's a lot of what I hear about telling our 30-year-old selves. What are the final parting words that you want to share with the audience just to wrap it all up?
I mean, I would just say, really, the golden rule is, to love and respect yourself first. Really, I mean, whatever you do is so important for you to have that, and then you can love and respect others, and then have fun with your makeup routine, your family, friends, but just having that love and respect for yourself is the most important.
Words of wisdom, my friend, words of wisdom. All right. Thank you, possibility seekers. We're going to leave Giela's website and contact information in the show notes and in everything we're going to talk about on this podcast. Please let us know what you thought. Give us a thumbs up, share it, give us a review. It really does help. We want to know what you're thinking and what you're enjoying. Thank you so much for joining us, and make it a great day. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening to Possibilities with Monique de Maio, where we unpack life as a female mover and shaker. If you like the show, please consider liking it, or better still, subscribing to it and leaving us a rating. It truly does help. Also, you can pick up my book, The 7 Secrets to Creating a Life You Love, a practical guide for women in leadership. You can find the book, other episodes of this podcast, and how to stay in touch at moniquedemaio.com. DEMAIO. I look forward to seeing you again soon. With gratitude, Monique.